All right, let's see if this is actually live or not. Did we go live or is this going to be a fake start? We're going to find out in just a second. See if anyone appears in here, if it hits 30 seconds and then restarts on me like it likes to do. Does some weird stuff. Okay. What are you doing, YouTube? There we go. All right, and we are live. Hey, everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, doing this a little earlier than usual, but you know what the heck. Remind you guys, follow me on the fitness page. You guys, of course, saw the warning I put in the community tab, and that actually worked really good for yesterday's live. I'm going to sip of my protein. Yeah, I'm having to do this early because I have some client calls and stuff I have to sort later. So I'm not going to have time to do this later in the day. So we want to live. We got to get it out of the way now. So, you know, it might not get as big of a crowd because of the earlier time of the day, but let's briefly cover a topic before I get to your questions and comments and fun little chats that we have. All right, guys, it's something I always want to make clear. The whole fitness industry is largely Conmen. Okay, we need to be clear on that. They sell supplements. We know 95% of supplements don't work. You know, like even right now, look, right now I take protein powder. I use extra strength fish oil and melatonin at the moment. Those are my only 3 supplements. I'm not saying a few other things don't help. That's currently what I take. That's it. Take a melatonin before bed. Take my extra strength fish oil with my breakfast. I drink protein powders during my feed window. That's it. That's it. And yet, we got all those veins. We got those veins. But again, that is mostly what the industry is people selling you useless supplements, selling you useless gadgets, you know, occlusion bands at this point, booty bands, right? All sorts of nonsense. Daryl, I'll get to your topic in just a second. Go ahead and ask questions, though, guys. Also, Daryl, why are you asking a question and not clicking the like? I don't see any engagements up there. Come on. Number of people asking questions should at least be equal to the likes. So that is what the industry is. And the same thing with a lot of the routines and everything they sell. Cookie cutter routines and stuff, guys. They are cookie cutter routines. Those should be free. I put them out free. I get ad revenue on them. That's it. Like if you're going to have programming, it needs to be custom programming. You need to see what your clients' lifts look like. So in other words, if they're not even asking to see video footage of your lifts and they're selling you a program, they're not assessing anything. Again, that's a con. That is not, it's not coaching. You're not getting a program written especially for you. Tons of these people have come out, people have come out in the past who even sell the programs, who write the programs for these people. And they're like, yeah, I just wrote cookie cutter programs for them as an employee. And the influencer didn't even write their programming. We never looked at their stuff. They just gave them cookie cutter programs. Again, it's all cons. It's all cons. Pretty straightforward, right? Pretty straightforward. So let's get over to these questions. How come I got 3 people asking questions and only 2 likes? You guys got to engage better. Come on now. All right, but let's get over to the questions. Daryl says, do you gain a tolerance to melatonin? Not to my knowledge. Right? Not to my knowledge. Okay. Ben Willett here says, why do you think she's at a novice level lifter? She has state records in 2 states under my coaching. You do know she's deadlifted well into the 300s in meets, right? Just an FYI. You do know she's squatted like 260 in competitions. So just an FYI, but let's go over the thing. It's part of the reason Michelle can train 6 times a week because physique-wise, she's still a novice lifter and therefore doesn't accumulate much fatigue with hypertrophy work. Okay, that is another point though with women, right? That's the thing with women. That is something the researchers have noted because usually women's total strength is lower. In other words, an elite one, like pulling 315 is crazy strong for a woman. For a man, it's a complete beginner. Yes, the total tonnage you're capable of lifting does matter on that volume. So that is one of the things that researchers noted in the fact that women have a higher volume tolerance. Okay. So it's nothing to do with Michelle per se. It has to do with women in general. They have a much higher volume tolerance than men because, absolute strength does tend to be lower. Right? Straight back deadlifts don't mean anything, Ben. I don't know why you think that. So that's nobody at the elite level pulls with a straight back. So no, Michelle would absolutely beat Emma in powerlifting meets. And that's no disrespect to Emma. Emma was strong. Emma was a good client. She was strong, got good results. But again, understand that the absolute strength is a factor along with our total lifestyle. Okay. Coach, aren't you getting a good night's sleep without melatonin, having higher stress than usual? No, it's not higher stress than usual. But sometimes I do need extra stuff to make sure I get good sleep. Okay. Morgan Powell, Jason, any idea how much? We don't talk about special supplements here, man. We don't do that anymore. Redmond says, Coach, I never get notifications for your lives. I've never got a notification for anybody's lives in my entire life. I don't know how that works. Like, I don't actually know where notifications are supposed to appear. I've never seen a notification on YouTube. The entire 12 years I've been making content, I've never gotten one notification of anything for anybody that I follow. But maybe I don't use the right window or something. Jacko, who's one of my Orc Warriors, appreciate that. Hello from Sweden. How many grams of fat is needed on a low-fat diet to maintain good hormones? It's not straightforward because not all fat is equal, right? As far as just health benefits in general, fat is not fat, meaning some fats are necessary and some aren't. Some of them have no real benefit to you other than just empty calories. But realistically, to maintain good hormones is making sure you're not deficient in any fat-soluble vitamins. That gets a little nuanced, making sure you're not deficient in essential fatty acids, which is going to be omega-3 and omega-6. But, I mean, in theory, 15 to 20 grams total fat could supply that if it was mostly geared towards, say, your polyunsaturated. So, again, nobody has an answer to your question. So that's one of those, if you start Googling and looking for research, you're not going to get the answer. Nobody actually knows. All of that is hypothetical, untested. Hey, we need X amount, possibly of fat for hormone production. It's all just theory. None of it is based, there's no actual data. It's not based on actual science, things like that, right? Daryl, Michelle may eventually cover it. Some of her life story we don't want to put out there. She's gone through a lot. She is actually possibly getting an interview for a documentary for some stuff though coming up. But that won't be my channel. That'll be done by somebody who makes documentaries on people who've overcome different obstacles. In which case, obviously, I'll link it if that falls through. Ben says, pound to pound ranking Wilks. No, Michelle would beat Emma on Wilks scores in powerlifting. All right, long legs. What do we need for absolute neck development and aesthetics? I don't know. Neck extensions, man. Neck extensions and build your traps. Yeah, no, she is fairly new, but she's made big progress. And again, you'll see what's going to happen. Just wait for it. Wait for it. Matt 350 says, why everyone talking about Lincoln position versus the rest when you can do everything? It's like they talk as if you can do just one thing. That's the problem. That's the problem. And I mentioned that in some of my stuff, some of these vlogs. As long as you have one really good Lincoln position movement, you're probably in the clear. Okay. You can do mid-range stuff. You can do short. You can do all of it. I mean, if you think about it, most people are not just doing one exercise for a muscle. So what happens if you do 2 or 3? You can hit all those. And keeping in mind, before YouTube blew up and all the stuff on here happened, do you guys remember one of the most popular, and when I bring this up, OGs are going to remember this. Do you guys remember positions of flexion? Okay. How many of the older lifters remember positions of flexion? Was a bodybuilding philosophy that was popularized in publications that said if you wanted complete muscular development, you probably should include 3 different exercises. Now, they didn't call them shortened and lengthened. They called them stretch, mid-range, and contraction. Do you guys remember that? The 3 positions of flexion. It was a whole philosophy, which meant if you wanted to get a muscle as big as absolutely possible, you should probably have 1 exercise of each of those categories for it. This was 20, 25 years ago. This was a popular, very popular concept. Now they're jumping over to, oh, we only should focus on short and length. But 25 years ago, there were bodybuilding coaches and experts who were telling people you should probably include all 3. Right? Have we regressed in terms of training knowledge out there? Do you believe that RDLs, Morgan asked, do you believe that RDLs produce the same back development as traditional deadlifts? No. Do you think people can be bad at their core? What do you mean? You talking core, or are we talking about a philosophical good or bad person? I don't think, this is a great philosophical question. Do I think there are many people out there who are truly deep down in their core bad people? Maybe 1%. It's a very small number of people, right? Very small number of people. I honestly think now, and you can disagree with me. I honestly think most people want to be a good person. I think that the overwhelming majority of human beings on the face of the earth genuinely want to and try to be a decent human being. Right? I think there's a very, very small number of people who are probably truly bad, psychopaths, and irredeemable. Okay? And they make up a very small number of people. But they do exist. They do exist. They absolutely do exist. But no, I think most people put to it they want to be good human beings. Call me naive. That's just how I feel. Ben Willett says, thoughts on Revival Fitness saying high fat carnivore diet is awesome. Direct quote. No, that's ridiculous. I meant to write, do you cook most of all your own meals? I cook all of my food myself. Amor says, hey, coach, would you ever accept employees or some sort of job opportunity for your company as a protege? Not at this time. No, absolutely not for my online coaching. Maybe some other businesses down the road that I am looking at doing that I'm not going to discuss here. But right now, I do not have any employees. I don't want any employees. And I can tell you that no other person will ever fucking have access to my online clients. I don't care who you are. I don't care if I'm sleeping with them. I don't care if they're a business partner. My online clients are off limits to everybody as far as my direct communication. So never going to happen. They would have to be your clients as part of my business later if I were to hire coaches. They're not going to be my clients. Does that make sense? But at this time, I have no desire to hire anybody for current business. All right. Matt 350 says, also LinkedIn exercises are generally harder to recover from. They take in one-on-one situations without context as general programming. Now that's a good point. They do create additional fatigue. additional potential DOMs, things like that. Yeah. Ben says, do you believe that someone who's only 18 years old is still capable of evil towards another person? Yeah, I believe that is possible. I mean, that tiny number of people. Jacko says, what do you think about Matt Winning's stance on the chaotic, unstable training should be done at least one exercise per muscle group? No, I don't necessarily agree with that. Do you enjoy cooking for other people or only? I enjoy cooking for other people. Okay. Ben says, was letting Brit, yeah, dude, that was an enormous mistake. No, Redmond SARMs are not legal in Texas, to my knowledge. Who cares though? Like, why would anyone take that trash? All right, overpriced. It's like SARMs, all the side effects of steroids, more expensive and half the gains. I mean, what a marketing strategy. They cost more, but they'll give you half the results. At 5 times the price. Jesus. All right. But we're not talking about that stuff. This is a drug-free channel. Do you care if a female can cook? Yeah. I mean, realistically, do you care if a partner can cook in a romantic relationship? I think both people should be able to cook. Do you experiment with your clients? Yeah, sometimes. Long legs, would you give advice? It's common knowledge that I do that. No, I don't give TRT advice. Are you asking, do I give steroid advice in consultations? Yes. I don't give TRT advice. Why the fuck would I give TRT advice? That's a replacement dose through a medical doctor. Why would I do that? Am I a medical doctor? Can I write prescriptions? No, you go to the testosterone clinic. You go to the longevity clinic and you get your TRT. Pretty straightforward. My consultations are $100 an hour. Again, I don't discuss gear here on the channel, but are you asking, do I give that sort of advice to female clients? Yes. Let me be clear, I coach natural and enhanced athletes, but, and that means we cover whatever they need to win, any topic they need. Okay. But my rule with that has always been, and my clients will say this, you can ask some of them, they'll say, yeah, dude, just come up. If they choose to be enhanced, they better not do a tested competition. I have a problem with that. Like, that's grounds for cutting off Team Blaha right there. And I've had to tell a client that before who was going to do it. I'm like, if you do it, I'm cutting you. We're cutting you off. I'm not going to have someone go lift, potentially known as one of my lifters, and fail a drug test. I have enough reputation problems already. Like, so that is absolutely a rule I do have. And I do follow it strictly. That is your cut as a client, because I can't have that risk. Could you cover By the Way by Red Hot Chili Peppers? I don't think I've ever played that song. Matt 350, do you ever had people in gyms give you silly advice? To me, one old guy saying that I have to shock the muscles to make them. Dude, so many times over the years back, it happened a lot. Dean, would you agree that higher rep squats and deadlifts will have a higher risk of injury due to form breakdown on the lighter reps versus lower reps, such as heavier with the form, most likely better? Yes. When you have said you used to squat 550 for triples in younger, is it safe to say those squats were not to depth or other? No, I think they were to parallel. Ben, what does that have to do with powerlifting or bodybuilding? I want you to rethink your question. Who do I coach? Do I coach football players? You knew exactly what I meant when I made the statement here. The people I coach. Do I coach any college football players to your knowledge? Have you ever heard of this happening? And I would rather not discuss that specific potential allegation of illegal activity anymore on this channel, because that would imply distribution back in the day. So we're just gonna. All right. And more. When your clients go and compete, do these write your name in the roster as their coach that prepared them? Not necessarily, but people know they're my lifters. Like the official, I mean, people, they talk. And some of them are public, yes. So again, it's something that needs to be thought, needs to be taken into account. It's not worth the risk to me. By the way, I think this is the right time to make live streams for us Europeans. Happy to be here finally. Cool. Matt, I'm changing the times around a little bit because some of it's based upon my schedule and what I'm doing, away from the channel too. So this was a good time slot for today, right? So, I mean, you'll see something like that. Abdul, I already answered your question. Right? Did I not answer that already? I very, very clearly articulated that at this time for current business ventures, I have no employees and I do not want any employees. However, I will eventually have businesses that will require employees. Even though you're not competing, I think many of your clients do still close with Texas USPA, and I have clients in the USPA. So pretty straightforward. Amor, no, you're not going to talk to those clients on my behalf. In fact, I almost need to just get you out of the chats if you think that that's appropriate. Okay. No, again, you're not going to talk to my former clients on my behalf. Who the fuck do you think you are? Get out of here. Not trying to be a dick, but damn, dude. I'm sorry. The level of audacity. And the entitlement. Abdul, yeah, I might have been during an ad. It's all good, man. Superboy, why are you talking about those people on my channel? Again, we come back over to who do you think you are to talk about weird trolls like that on my channel and to bring that nonsense here to me? I'm gonna be cool this one time, and I'm gonna let you delete your own comment. We'll give you about 20 seconds. All right. Tech Force, I know you're doing bodybuilding right now, but thoughts on strongman, sandbag lifts, atlas stones, farmers walks, and walk. Those are all great stuff. Tech, I've coached strongman. I mean, I still coach strength athletes, dude. No, dude, that stuff's great. All of that general physical preparedness stuff like that, I think is pretty fantastic ways to get in shape. It's good stuff, dude. Right? Why wouldn't it be? I mean, think about it from just a general fitness and a GPP perspective of those movements. They're great. Okay, super. You didn't remove your comment. Kapow! You out of here. I gave you a fair chance. Would you ever compete in Texas, USP after the cut is done? That's a whole nother topic. Matt, 350, 220 times 10 incline bench with a pause you think is good. I think that's fantastic, dude. How much do you weigh? I mean, that probably doesn't matter. I mean, strong is strong, dude. Are we really going to discuss relative strength? I get. So let me just set that aside. Do strong is strong. Are low reps better for someone that struggles to train to failure for hypertrophy? Why do you struggle to train to failure? Long legs, I don't discuss gear in my channel anymore. Are you telling me you can't lift a weight until it stops? Like this is how you train to failure. Oh, wait, this one's getting heavy. Okay. It didn't move. That's it. You're telling me you struggle to do that? You guys are not allowed to advertise for my trolls. Get out of my feed. All right. How come? All right. Nico says, how to come back from time off of gym. I got hyped by the hurricane, place flooded. Dude, that's rough. And haven't been able to hit the gym every week, lost some weight, and haven't been sleeping. Just start. Yeah, dude, reduce your weights about 20% from what you were doing when you quit. Do that for a few days and then get right back into your normal routine, dude. It's very simple. Couple workouts, you'll be right back. Ben, but he knew that he was in here advertising for a troll. A loser ass troll with no following who wants to mention my name for whatever reason. No, he doesn't get to give him free advertising. They got to pay me for that. Big C says, looking vascular, coach. Thank you. Look at that one right there. Geronimo, it is nobody's business what sort of businesses I plan on starting. Right? You don't play your hand. You don't tell the whole world your master plan. If you do, you should lie. Like, don't tell the truth. That way nobody can mess with it. Right? So either stay silent, or lie. Those are your two best choices. So, see how that works. It's in your best interest to do that. It's hard for me to do when doing reps above 10. What do you mean, Daryl? It's not hard. You lift the weight until it stops moving. This is not a complicated concept. If it's hard, then lifting heavy is going to be even harder. Okay, dude, if doing that with 100 pounds is hard, what do you think is going to happen when you put 150 on the bar? It's going to be heavier. Okay? Besides, it's not hard. We're just lifting weights, guys. It's really, it ain't nothing but a peanut, as Ronnie Coleman said. Matt at 210, that at 210 pounds to do 220 for 10, so 100 kilos for 10 on the incline, I'm going to say is really good. Like, I'm going to give you a legitimate nod of respect there. Ben, we're focused on everything. If you notice through the vlogs through the week, she does incline, flat, and decline. We do all three, plus we do flies. Dean, on a cut, how much strength loss would be considered too much? Over 10%, definitely too much. Abdul, I kind of feel like you a troll. Can we talk about the here and now? I don't enjoy talking about whatever I was doing 20 years ago, because the problem is my memory gets fuzzy, and then people basically sit down, and if I get some detail wrong because I mixed up something from 19 or 20 years ago because I'm getting old, then people want to turn it into a lie. So how about we just don't discuss any of it at all, and let's talk about what we're doing here today. Quit living in the past. Right. Quit living in the past, dude. Move forward to the modern era. All right. Tom B, did you watch the recent Dr. Mike versus Dr. Brett Contreras debate on hip thrust? No. Ben, will you ever move to a place with a bigger garage and hold more gym equipment? Of course. Do I need to put the word Master T into the spam filter? Jesus. Geronimo, do you think you can send me the spreadsheets? You're going to have to pay for it. Are Michelle's tattoos hindering your chances? No, absolutely not. Nope, it is not a problem at all for bikini or physique. Plus, her tats are great. What are you guys talking about? Her tats are awesome. Hey, Jason, what rep range is easiest to recover from, like 1 to 12? I don't know. Did Emma and Michelle ever become friends? Not to my knowledge. I mean, I'm not aware of it. I don't think they did. I mean, they didn't dislike each other. They were like both Team Blaha. You got to bring the equipment inside where it belongs. Dude, you just learn to deal with it, man. Just deal with the heat. I got fans in there. It's all good. I got fans. Eventually, I do want to have a place with maybe a separate air-conditioned building. Will you do a yearly team? No. Do people have... Ben, half my clients have ridiculously busy lives. That's why they hire a coach to do all their programming for them. All right, we're going to travel from London, working my 80-hour week and running 2 businesses all the way to the U.S. for a get-together. Come on, dude. No, dude, they're just my online clients. Okay, everyone's all about Master T today. Let's get rid of all these Master T disciples. Da, 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 da. Hey, Daryl, we don't need to discuss that. The warning has been given. I don't even have to talk to them legally. Nothing has to be said. Pretty straightforward. That situation will be over in less than 10 seconds. Tom B. Jason, I'm making an effort to lift for 45 to 60 minutes. I'm not going to lie. It's hard because I'm still stuck in the 10 sets per week mindset. Yeah. Lars, do you really think that is an appropriate comment to make? Come on, dude. Nat 3 just says, opinions on Milo Wolf. I already know the answer, by the way. Doctor doesn't look like he lifts in a t-shirt, but wants to clown on other people who are stronger and more jacked and more experienced than him. That Dr. Milo Wolf. He is aware exercise science is an applied science, right? Geronimo says, Tal, we already know the answer to that. Geronimo says, Coach, is it possible to develop big chest with just doing dips and incline bench press? Flat bench for me feels a bit strange, blah, blah, blah. Almost like someone will literally sit on me and harm my pea pie. That's what a weird statement. But as far as answering your question, yeah. Can you develop a big chest with dips and incline bench together? Absolutely. They're both good exercises that use the pectorals as a primary mover, and they're working 2 different planes. Yeah. I mean, it would not be my first choice, but biomechanically, will it do what you just asked? The answer is absolutely. Absolutely. On a serious note, looking lean, Jason, you're literally the most jacked man I've seen in a show. Oh, come on, dude, I've ever seen. You're so buff on it. People do comment, they do compliment, but I mean, come on, dude, you can't realistically say I'm the most jacked person you've ever seen in a shirt. But that is a point we need to make. If you don't look like you lift in a shirt, do you even lift, bro? I mean, realistically. I mean, I'm 47, guys, and I look like I lifted a shirt. For some of you, I'm like your grandpa's age. Look, dude, you Master T guys getting ridiculous. I didn't ban Master T. I used the copyright tool, and apparently he had so many infringement strikes already that mine was the straw that broke the camel's back. I hit him with one. It was at a 30. I went, look, the copyright tool gives me a list like this and says, these 30 people stole your video. Do you want to delete all 30 of these videos from these 25 channels? And I click yes and type Jason Blaha and hit the button and send it. Like the copyright tool for tiered channels detects this for us. I just hit the button. He must have had 2 strikes already for being a jackass. That's not my fault. He needs to get over it. Quit breaking the rules. And speaking of which, you got. All right, Matt 350. Today I did a LinkedIn partial workout. That's how I'm going to become Ronnie Coleman. Dean says you do 3 sets of most of your lifts. If someone wanted to do 2 sets of exercise with 5 exercises for that muscle group, the overkill. I mean, that's a lot, dude. That's a lot. Depends on what they're doing. 10 total sets is probably reasonable, right? Right? But it depends in some cases. But I mean, really, if you're only doing 10 sets, do you really need 5 exercises? I mean, do like 3 exercises. Come on. Do you ever watch your old workouts like 2019 to 2020 to verify something that might be useful? You ready? Oh, Dorado. Abdul, I'm not answering it because I don't feel like telling you guys I didn't play any school sports ever in my life. Like, this is common knowledge. Like, everybody knows I didn't play any school sports. This is not like anything new. All right, let's get rid of it. Thank you for the advice. You're most welcome, Dean. Geronimo, what are your thoughts on supersets and annihilate the muscles to absolute failure, even the barbell feels heavy? What do you mean absolute failure? It's just called failure, dude. That's it. Annihilate, dude. All these Master T comments. Jesus, where are you guys coming from? I didn't think he had that many followers. All right. I remember your old metabolic conditioning workouts in the 100 chin-ups a day. Oh my God, dude, that actually ended up injuring me. Again, overuse is a problem. This is why when these guys are like, oh, we just need to do endless sets. We're going to do 52 sets in a workout and do studies on it. I'm like, yeah, your people are all going to have impingements and tendon ruptures and all sorts of nonsense. Come on. No, dude, I'm not going to pick on Alex for being a shorter guy, dude. I'm going to be nice about that. I'm going to be real chill about it. Is it true? That's a Master T. Let's just answer these. He has bigger fat seps than me because he's got big old rolls of flab around his arms because he's a fat, useless piece of shit. he has bigger fat seps than me. Okay, fine. All that saturated fat he eats is really paying off. Geronimo says, if Chuck Basher came to you for advice on all these legal problems he is facing, I would tell him to hire a lawyer and not ask a strength coach. Geronimo, it's kind of like the guys who come and ask me these other non-fitness questions. Okay. Do you see any plaques on the wall showing my law degree? Do you see me having any experience as a lawyer? Have I represented anyone in a courtroom? Am I even a police officer? So oh my God. See, now I just need to ban the Master T people because now my regular people are asking about it. It's a guy with like 500 followers who's really weird and obsessed with me. I don't know why. He talks about hyperplasia all the time or something and doesn't believe in hypertrophy and believes in eating raw meat or something. And he's just some fat, weird guy. I don't know. Pretty much sums it up. All right. You were doing upper, lower 6 times on top of the 100. Yeah, I was doing upper, lower 6 days a week on top of the 100 chin-ups. So people can't say, you just don't like the really high volume because you're lazy and don't want to do it. I've done it. I'm bigger now doing 6 sets of muscle group. Geronimo says, but the prosecutor, which is even more the case of why Chuck doesn't need to ask YouTubers and strength coaches for advice. He needs to go talk to a lawyer. Bro, he needs to talk to a lawyer. Where from the Czech Republic are the Blahas from? I would have to go look it back up. I've never actually been to the motherland. Hyperplasia even real in humans? We don't actually have evidence that hyperplasia occurs in humans. Yeah. I'm not aware that Alan Thrall gives bad training advice. Geronimo, and I could be wrong, right? I could be wrong, but it was my understanding that Alan gave pretty decent training advice, unless something has changed. I think your followers want you to testify in court against. I mean, I have no interest in getting in his nonsense. Is Alan a good guy? I thought he was, but I mean, he's got some questionable business associates. So I guess maybe not. I was under the impression that he was up until, a year or two back. Thoughts on the Sopranos TV show? I've not really watched it, to be fair. I've probably seen a few episodes over the decades. Does testosterone levels matter at all for strength gain potential in a normal range? Say, example, 400, or so you're talking about literally 100% increase, 400 to 800. That would have a very, very small measurable impact. It would have some effect, yes. When we're talking that big of a jump where you literally have doubled your levels, which no test booster will ever do, it would have a very small but statistically significant impact, yes. Like that person could probably over the course of their lifetime gain 2 or 3 pounds more muscle over, say, 10 years than the other person possibly, if all their other genetic factors were equal, right? If all the other genetic factors were equal. Okay. For hypertrophy, is it wrong to say that a standing press uses more side delt than a seated press because of the bar path is more vertical? I don't think that it will. Alan also did a phase of bodybuilding, training with bodybuilding focus like you yourself. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm doing. Jason wants to look. Yeah, except that they're real road plates, dude. Sorry. That's not how it works. The only problem with that logic is that whenever you guys have watched me use my plates and then go to meets, I'm usually lifting within a few percent in the gym of what I hit on the platform during those phases. There's the only problem with that theory. Thoughts on ghost plates versus rogue? I've never messed with ghost plates, so I don't know. I don't answer any gear questions at all on my channel anymore. What do you mean on the hefty side, dude? I got abs. Women like bald men. I don't know what you're talking about. Favorite TV shows? Mine is Breaking Bad. I'm gonna go with Game of Thrones or Battlestar Galactica. I'll throw True Blood in as a third. Unbelievable persistent. Hey, coach, how are you doing? I've been following 5-3-1 boring but big for a while, but I train MMA 3 times a week. So recovery is not great. Any other 5-3-1 or upper lower templates? You could run a conjugate. You could space the 5-3-1 out into a 3-day program. You could spread it out further. Geronimo says the estimated cost that Chuck Basher may have to pay approaches 7 digits in fines and damage. Wow. Abdul, no, you keep asking me the same questions that I don't feel like trying to answer. Like if you've noticed I'm skipping it for a reason. Rather than just get rid of you because it's getting annoying, I'm just choosing to ignore it. Is that fair? All right. Thoughts on the Game of Thrones books? I only made it through the first 3. They're good though. Any particular reason why you were not doing pullovers? Honestly, I just don't have room for them with my training volume. I feel like I really don't. I would rather be doing chest presses, and then even for the arms, I really think extension. I just need to stick with extensions, especially stuff that get that long head growing. Why would I testify? No one's going to summon me to testify against Chuck Basher. It was an overuse issue, Ben. I don't have a current shoulder injury. I had an overuse injury previously that I've rehabbed. No, it was overuse issues. Right? And of course, I think some of the scar tissue and other stuff from that previous overuse has affected some of my range of motion. But again, this is the reason I tell people be very, very careful when you do ultra high volumes of training. Abdul, because I've already answered it. You just got the answer. You just heard my answer. Because someone asked me a more direct question. I just don't want to keep rehashing the same stuff over and over and over and over and over with my overuse stuff from the past. Like you guys already know the answers to this. Don't do 100 chin-ups a day. Maybe cut it off at 300 a week or something. Don't try to train 6 days a week and do 100 chin-ups every day. Right? You probably be careful of doing stuff like that when you're over 40. All right. Why would I move to the Czech Republic? Why would I want to do that? All right. Yeah, Abdul, but I just answered it here. And again, yeah, with age, everybody observes this. Look at tons of older lifters. How many of the guys you see who those are issues? Various scar tissue accumulates around certain areas. Little micro injuries accumulate. So this is why you have to watch certain things. Unbelievable. But so what does that have to do with anything? So if you saw a person, an influencer, who you recognize them as having a Vietnamese last name and they lived in America, would you ask them, hey, are you going to move back to Vietnam? I know you've been here for 3 generations, but you should consider moving to Vietnam because you have a Vietnamese name. Like, do you see how silly that kind of is? Come on, dude. Oh man, you're a Chinese American. Do you see what I mean? it's kind of silly, dude. No, man, I don't want to leave the U.S. For hypertrophy, you think it's more important for wrist flexion or grip strength? Guess it depends specifically on what part of the forearm you're trying to grow. Oh no, I mean we're good, man. I just don't understand the comparison. Like I don't know why you're comparing me to Tony Soprano. Seems kind of weird. I mean, again, notice the veins and it just seems like a really strange comparison. Uh, no, bro, I was born in Texas. Dean says, how slow would you recommend cutting for retaining strength? Is a 500 deficit too high? If you're getting reasonably lean, it might be. Yeah, you might want to cut even slower than that. Is the conjugate method where you mix up everything every time a good way to avoid overuse? Yeah, you need to rotate exercises. That's kind of important. Geronimo, I'm not discussing if my house is going to be vacant or not on the holidays. All right. Hey, Geronimo, you're sounding like a stalker to me at this point. You want to know about what sort of home cameras I use? You want to know if I'm going to be gone for the holidays? Bye. All right. Have you ever lived in another state? I've lived in New Mexico. I've lived in Oklahoma. I also spent 3 years in the United Kingdom. Dean, how slow 2 pounds a month? At a certain point, yeah. Hector Ball. Hey, Jason, did you pull the switch on the. What are you talking about? Cool. No, not Oklahoma. New Mexico, yeah. Yeah. I still have some friends from there that I was in high school with. I was there from about 15 to 17, and then my dad's work transferred him back to the Houston area. But yeah, I'm still in touch with some of my high school buddies from there, a couple of them. Yeah, no, it was a good time in my life. He came by to say hello, and you pulled the tape. What a weird, another weirdo. All right. Too many tornadoes in Oklahoma. Yes, there are. That was kind of my memory of the short time there, a few months as a kid. Do you think shows like My 600-Pound Life are because they showcase the reality of American obesity? I've never actually seen the show. I've heard about it, but I've never actually seen an episode of it. Do you think breaking through to the young crowd will be important to new success? Probably to some extent. Another reason to keep getting leaner, get more veins, more cuts, because that's what they notice. That is what they notice. But for views, yes. For clients, no. They don't make good clients. The average good client is over 35. Right? That's what you want. The over 35s make the best clients in general. I can see that. Yeah, the trauma-induced weight gain. Coach, is there any need to go on TRT ever? Yeah, of course. I mean, if you have clinically low testosterone, that's a good reason to go talk to a doctor about it. Pretty straightforward. All right. What have you noticed are some of the flaws coming with younger clients? One, they don't have money. Number two, they can't afford my services for extended periods of time at full price. Number three, they don't have money. Number four, they're often really bad at taking instructions or listening to what you tell them. They like to argue. Over 35 clients, especially if they're in business of any type, are used to hiring experts and contractors. They don't argue with you. They ask questions, but they still do what you tell them to do. They can afford you. They pay on time. And they appreciate your expertise, and they don't generally argue with you. Pretty straightforward from a business perspective, right? 22-year-old kids, because 22 is a child, right? That is a child to me. They're going to argue. They're going to not be able to pay on time. They're going to say, hey, coach, I'm short on money this month. Can we slide it down? Can I have $100 off? Otherwise, I can't afford coaching. Oh, by the way, I think we should change this. And I did a max deadlift, even though we're only doing rep work on stuff right now, because my bros were maxing on deadlifts, and I had to show them up. But now I think I pulled something in my back because I used really bad form because we haven't been working on maxes. You know what I mean? Ben, I'm not going to discuss that. So therein lay the problem. No, Abdul, I get a pretty good chunk because what do I market? Longevity under the barbell. My age is a massive marketing factor to that demographic. So people are like, why do you mention your age all the time? Why do you think? Because someone who's 40 plus, who is really serious, especially if they've gotten a little beat up already, do you think they really want to hire a 35-year-old personal trainer? Oh, Helena, Michelle had another coach for a few months. No, we stayed really good friends during that time. So it's not an issue. But I'm not going to get into all that. She's back. It's permanent. It's indefinite. Logs for the older veteran client you mentioned, no, we're not going to do that. I mean, what do you want to watch them do work with 15-pound dumbbells? Right? Guy's got multiple fused discs. We keep him in shape. I mean, the guy's retired with like 3 fused discs in his back. Great guy though. Yeah, Helena, we've been doing vlogs again. We've got vlogs up for well over a month, every 2 of them a week. Abdul, because I've been here forever, I have old followers who still chime in, who hire me to coach them, who followed me 8-10 years ago. When they want to coach, they come back around over, even if they haven't been keeping up. It's just how it works. Keep in mind, I've been on this platform a really, really long time. There are people who started watching me when they were 30 and they kind of got beat up and come back over to see what I'm up to. And like, man, he's doing good. I need to maybe hire him for a little while to coach. It happens a lot. Ben, I'm going to not answer those questions, dude. All right. time to wind this down. Hey, Jason, I'm ready, bro. Don't even bother with body armor. It's not going to help you. All right. Well, my advice, have the big ones line up and the short ones stack up. That will resolve all of my trolling problems for the rest of my life. Bye-bye. All right. So we winded it down. So I hope it's been informative. I love all of you guys and gals. Let me give you guys a forearm shot before we go, and I'll talk to you next time.